Indeed, countless blessings always belong to Allah. We cannot thank Allah enough. We cannot thank Allah enough, and I am reminding you, as I remind myself, that we should be people who are grateful to Allah for every opportunity He has given us. The opportunity He has given us. For the short moments that we have today at this obligatory hour, or these moments, inshallah, I want to share some things from the Quran, of course. Allah Ta'ala, He says in Surah Al-Qamar, Allah Ta'ala, He mentions, we're going to look at a few of these ayats. Allah Ta'ala, He says, after we mention and seek refuge from Allah and Allah from our enemy, the shaitan, Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَلَقَدْ تَرَكْنَاهَا آيَةً فَهَلْ مِن مُذَكِّرٍ فَكَيْفَ كَانَ عَذَابِي وَالنُّذُرِ وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَكِّرٍ كذبت عاد فكيف كان عذابي والنذر. In this ayat, and we'll look at a few more ayats, Allah Ta'ala, He uses the expression فَهَلْ مِن مُدَكِّرٍ as He is talking about the book of his Quran, his Quran. Allah is asking the people, asking us, are you a person who reflects on the words of Allah? Are you that kind of person? And then the eyes that I opened up with, Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَلَقَدْ تَرَكْنَاهَا آيَةً. We have indeed left it as a sign. We'll talk about what it is in a moment. We have left it as a sign. So Allah then asked the question, hell. So are you from those who remember? Are you of those who remember? Like ponder, find out what's going on. Are you a person who reflects? And then Allah says, how? How was my punishment? Allah asked the question, how was my punishment? How was my warning? Did Allah not tell us that punishment was going to come to those who deny? Did His messengers and prophets not tell us, warn us of a dreadful punishment to come? وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Verily we have made the Quran easy to remember. We have made the Quran easy to remember. And Allah then, He's asked the question, فَهَلْ مِن مُدَكِّرٍ. Are there any among you who are remembering it? Reflecting on it? Its lessons? Are there anyone reflecting? Allah says, كذبت عاد فكيف كان عذابي والنذر. So Allah Ta'ala, He mentions after, in these ayats, He mentions that the people of Ad, unfortunately, they denied. It says they denied. Right? They were deniers. They didn't think it was going to happen. So Allah says, how was my punishment? Go look and see. Go look at the ruins of Ad. Look and see. They denied. Look and see what happened to them. We can see. The hadith says that when the Prophet said, when they got to that valley, he told his company, let's get out of here, because this was where the destruction of Allah came to a people. Let's get out of here quickly. Six times in this surah, this phrase is repeated. Allah then says, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُذَكِّرٍ كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودَ بِالنُّذُرِ. The people of Thamud. Ad and Thamud. Oh, subhanAllah. Pre-Islamic Arabs. People who Allah has given power to make homes out of the mountains, magnificent homes. Like today's standards, we may call them these mansions that we have in Atlanta and throughout America. These mansions that people build. These people was building mansions back then because Allah gave them the ability. Out of the mountains, carved into the mountains. Allah then says, so we have Ad, we have Thamud. Allah then says, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Again, he asks the question, or he makes the statement. We have made the Quran easy to remember. Are there any among us, 2023, any among us who are reflecting and remembering the book of Allah, pondering over its many, many lessons? فَهَلْ مِن مُذَكِّرٍ. Any of us who denied كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ لُوطٍ بِالنُّذُرِ. The people of Lut denied the warning. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُذَكِّرٍ. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَ آلَ فِرْعَوْنَ النُّذُرِ. Allah repeats and repeats and repeats. This is a lesson for us. Why is Allah repeating this statement over and over and over again? We have made the Quran easy to remember and to reflect. Are there any amongst us who are reflecting doing such? Verily, the warning came to the people of Fir'aun. And we know what happened. We know what happened to the people of Fir'aun. They rejected the message. They taunted Musa alayhi salam. They taunted him. Fir'aun, claimed that he was an ilah, a god, oppressing the people. We have the people of Ad, the people of Thamud. We have the people of Lut. We have the people of Fir'aun. 4 nations of people. And we started out with the one I said, when Allah says, and we left it as a sign. Who is this? This is the people of Noah. Allah says we left it, meaning we left that vehicle that was used to transport the small quantity of believing men and women who believe with him, and a small quantity of animals and those who Allah wished to save with him. The small vehicle that no one never seen built before. No one never seen one before. In the desert, in the middle of a desert. You've ever been to a desert? There's no water. This is why they laughed at Noah. You doing what? I mean, we've known you for over all these years. 900 some odd years. We know you be calling us to something strange. And now all of a sudden now you're building something. Where's the water, Noah? Where's the water? They picked with him, laughed at him. But he was steadfast. He remained patient. He remained patient. Noah said, subhanallah. He says, فَدَاعَ رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَغْلُوبٌ فَانْتَصِرْ. Oh my Rabb. Allah said, he said, Noah said, he cried out to his Rabb. I have been overwhelmed. Noah couldn't take any more of it. He couldn't take any more of their mocking him. Not wanting to follow the message. So he cried out to Allah, oh Allah, I'm overwhelmed. I'm done with them. So help me. Noah cried out, oh Allah, help me. ففتحنا أبواب السماء بماء منهمر. So we opened up Abwab Sama, the doors, the gates of the heavens, of the sky, with rain, with water, pouring down, gushing down. وفجرنا الأرض عيونا فالتقى الماء على أمر قد قدر. And that caused the earth to open up its springs. Springs is on the bottom. Open up. And water came out from every place you can imagine. Water gushed out. This was already ordained. Allah knew this was going to happen. He already had it in place. وَحَمَلْنَاهُ عَلَى ذَاتِ الْأَلْوَاحِ وَالدُّسُرِ. And we carried him on. Allah, interesting. That's why, I didn't use the word ship, ark. People say, I get into them. We Muslims. Allah Ta'ala, he calls it the wood and these things, this construction that was constructed. Whatever we want to call it today, we call it. Built so that it can carry Noah and those whom Allah deemed necessary to be saved and keep them safe from this gushing water. تجري بأعياننا جزاء لمن كان كفر. Okay, this vessel, this vehicle, was sailing, was moving about through the waters under Allah's observation. Allah was steering it to where He wanted it to go. And for the rest, those who were not able to get on this vessel, this was a punishment because of their disbelief. This was their penalty for not believing, for mocking Noah, for denying the messengers. And then the ayah the surah takes off from where I started today. Verily, we have left it as a sign. Somewhere in the world today, because people claim they found it, but they haven't found it. Somewhere in the world, because Allah says we've left it as a sign, is this construction, this vehicle, this vessel that carried Noah and his people. Small amount of people to safety. So Allah asked the question, that's what it said, are you of people who reflect? The Quran has multiple layers of meanings. Not just one meaning. Multiple layers of meanings. Multiple layers of meanings. The obvious and what's not so obvious. And it is on us. It is on us. The obvious is clear sometimes. But what is the real intent behind what Allah is telling us? He's not just using these words and just to say them. They're for a reason. What's the secondary motive? What are you really trying to say? Sometimes when we speak with one another, right, we use idioms, we use expressions. I know it means, but what are you really saying? That's how the Quran is. We know it means that, but what is Allah actually saying? That is our job to find out what that is. That's our job. And for us to read the Quran and let it just go from cover to cover without thinking about it, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So we have 5 nations. The people of Noah. You keep count. The people of Ad. The people of Thamud. The people of Lut. Like today, we have to say this. The world is being dummied down. And people are afraid to speak the truth, or actually being silenced from speaking the truth. They want to convince you and I that it's some way biological possible that men can become pregnant today. This is the narrative today. That it's okay, children can change their gender at will. This is the narrative today. This is the people of Lut. What did Allah do to them? He destroyed them. He destroyed them. There's no kumbaya. There's no kumbaya with people when they make shirk. When they outright deny Allah. Go back and review the surah, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Say to those who disbelieve, La a'budu ma ta'budun. I don't worship what you worship. Wa la antum abidun ma a'bud. And nor do you worship what I worship. It's clear. The lines are clear. The lines of separation are clear. We're Muslims. We're people of Iman. And we have to act and behave accordingly. And take what it brings. It's part of the process. And then we have the people of Fir'aun. It's interesting. These nations, Noah, Ad, Thamud, Lut, the people of Fir'aun, we can sum these nations up, these 5 nations up, into modern day now. This time, our time. Each of these groups of people who were in the past were destroyed because they denied the messengers. They denied that Allah sent messengers to warn them. They denied that Allah sent messengers. Allah did not create us, put us on this planet, and leave us to figure it out. Allah didn't do that. He didn't do that. Allah is Ar-Rahman. We don't have to figure out how to breathe. When a baby wants to nurse from her mother. When did the mom teach the baby how to suckle? It's not from the mom, it's from Allah. Allah taught this baby. This is the fitrah. This is the natural order. Allah did not create us and then leave us to figure it out. He didn't do this to us. You can't go on a job and expect to do the job right without proper training. This is just how it is. And we think that Allah, Rabbul Alameen, the Rabb of the worlds, is going to leave humanity to figure it out. It doesn't work like that, brothers and sisters. It doesn't work like that. Allah is Allah. And so what does Allah say toward the end of this surah? Surah, come, go and read it. It's the surah before Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, right? Right? We know Surah Ar-Rahman. Right? It's the surah, Al-Qamar is the surah before Ar-Rahman. After Ar-Rahman, Al-Waqiyah. So we have 57, 56, 55. So almost toward the end of this surah, pay attention to what Allah Ta'ala says. وَلَقَدْ, most definitely, يَسَرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِذِكْرِ. Allah again reminding us that He's made this Quran to reflect. He made it easy to remember. What's easy to remember? Not only is it easy to memorize, multi-layers. Not only is it easy to remember, but it's also easy to remember the lessons in the Quran. He made it easy to remember. So many lessons we get from the book of Allah. So Allah then He again asks, right? So He says in this ayat that we're speaking about, He says, وَلَقَدْ, verily, أَهْلَكْنَا أَشْيَاءَكُمْ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَكِّرٍ. O mankind, O you people who think you are like the people of Noah, you people who think you like the people of Ad, you people who think you like the people of Thamud, you people who are people of Ahlul Lut, you people who act like Fir'aun. Allah says with emphasis, emphatically, وَلَقَدْ أَهْلَكْنَا أَشْيَاءَكُمْ. Verily we have destroyed people like you before. We got rid of them. There is no more people of Noah unless they exist today. There is no more people of Ad, no more people of Thamud, no more people of Lut, no more people of Fir'aun. You want to keep regurgitating those diseases, that evil, you will keep getting destroyed. Allah says, verily we have destroyed people like you before. Are you not reflecting? Are we not reflecting? This is not the time to go soft. I don't want to be Muslim today. I don't want to be a Muslim. I don't want to stand up and be a Muslim. It's too much pressure. This is not time for that. This is not time for that. This is not what the Prophet ﷺ did. This is not what his companions did. This is not what the men and women who helped establish Islam after them did. This is not what these men and women did that came before us. We must move it forward. We must. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المسلمين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. As we get ready to close, I'll just mention a few things. Okay? I said that the Quran is multi-layers. Food for thought. Allah Ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran, and we know, because we've heard it, we know in science that every living creature has what in it? H2O, some component of water and matter. Allah mentions this in the Quran. Question for you and I. The Quran was revealed, sent down on the heart of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was sent down on his heart. And he said, this is what Allah says. Allah says, kada wa kada wa kada. So for Muslims, we believe the words of Allah is the truth. If it's not true, how did the Prophet know everything is created out of water? That you should think about that. Why am I asking that question? Because Allah says the Quran, we have made it easy to remember. Are you one who reflected? Allah not just saying it. Why? How do we know everything is created from water? Scientists did not know this until the 19th century. When, after the invention of the microscope, that's when scientists was able to look in a petri dish. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. But the Muslims already knew this. Not new information for the Muslim, not new information for the people of Iman. We have made this Quran easy to remember. Multi-layers of meaning. We have made it easy to remember. Are you or I, are we people who are remembering the Quran, reflecting on what Allah has to say? Who told Muhammad? Who told him? Another one. Allah Ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran about Al-Bahrain, the two seas, or the two bodies of water. Let's be more appropriate, to two bodies of water. One fresh and one salty. There's a barrier between the two of them. You know my question. Who told the Prophet this? Who told the Prophet this? How did the Prophet know that there was a barrier separating fresh and salt water? You can't see it. How did he know? How did he know? Because the Prophet says he's a sadiq wal masduq. He is the truthful one because he gets his information from Allah. And what he says is the truth. That's how he knows. Whatever he says is the truth. That's how he knew. Because Allah said it. They have now discovered this, but only after the Quran. Not prior to this. We have made the Quran easy to remember. Are any of us reflecting and remembering the Quran? The mountains. When we see the mountains, Jabal, Jibal. When we see the mountains, oh, mashallah, nice and beautiful. Who told the Prophet the purpose of the mountains was to stabilize the earth, the planet? Who told him? Who told him? When we only become one-dimensional people, we cut ourselves off. The Quran is not one dimension. It's multi-layered in meanings. Multi-layered in meanings. Who told the Prophet, that the purpose of the mountains was that as stabilizers so the earth don't move, don't tilt. That's why we're able to walk on this planet by Allah's permission and not be tilted one way or the other, not fall over. That's because of the benefit of the mountains. It's not no power we have, nothing we're doing. If Allah was to take that stability away, we'd be in trouble. We couldn't stop the collision of Earth or any other planet for that matter. A couple of more. We close out. Because it's just too much. And again, when we only look at the Quran from one perspective, one level, we do ourselves a disservice. There's reasons why Allah mentioned things. And it's not the obvious Allah talking about. Because that's obvious. Why is he mentioning it? One of the reasons he's mentioning it is so that we don't have an escape route. We don't have, oh, Allah didn't know. Why didn't you know? We live in a time where we got all these fancy gadgets, all this technology, and it's not making us no closer to Allah. Allah mentions in the Quran, there's an ayah in the Quran, Allah mentions that when the people are being punished in the hellfire, may Allah save us from it, He's going to cause their skins, He's going to cause their skins to roast. And when that roasting occurs, Allah says, وَبَلْنَاهُ, and we will exchange it for another skin, لِيَذُوقُ adhab. We will change it for another skin so that they can taste the punishment. Scientists now know, right? Again, they didn't know this prior to the Quran, but they now know that why Allah mentions this is because they now know under the skin are the nerves, the perceptors that we can feel pain. Allah mentions this in the Quran. This is recent knowledge in the scientific world. When I say, I mean, this is not ages old. But Allah has mentioned this in the Quran. The namla, the ant. Why is the ant addressed in the feminine? Why is the ant addressed in the feminine? Why? And I'll add this one in, this will be the last one, the ankabut, the spider. Same thing, ankabut is a feminine spider. Why? Why? In the animal world, it is the female species that handle business. And Tebi. In the animal world, it's the females who handle business. But in the human being world, in the world of men, who handles business? It is the men. Ar-rijal kawamun ala nisa, Allah says. The men, we go and protect our women. We maintain our women. We build. We don't sit back and let the women do those things for us. We do it. In the animal world, the female species take care of business. So, read between my lips. Read between my lines. If we're not handling our business as men, then we are worse than the animals. We're worse than men. Human beings stand up and take care of business. Period. We don't make no excuses. You get the right training, so you can make the money we need to handle our business. Get the right go to school, whatever it is you got to do lawfully to maintain. We do that. We don't make no excuses. Excuses is what children do. Why you see our men handle business. We don't make excuses. We get it done. Speaking again on the spider. Science now know it's very rare for the male spider to make a web. This, who told who told the prophet this? Who told the Arabs this? How did they know that this word ankabut, not ankabut, but ankabut, feminine, this is what it does in this world. But the male spider very rarely will they ever spin a web. That's not their nature. You look at the ants, the bees. Same thing, the bees. I mean, we go on and on and on. Ayat after ayat. Air compression. What happens when we go up? We lose. Allah mentions this in the Quran. So many examples from the book of Allah. Allah says we have made we have made this Quran easy to remember. One aspect of that ayat in the meaning, we should be memorizing the Quran, no doubt. That's not the only meaning. Are we reflecting? Are we paying attention? Why is Allah saying? What lesson does Allah want me to learn from this? What lessons am I trying to derive from this? Alif Lam Mim. Funny. About 15 places in the Quran we find these broken letters. Ha Mim. Letters like these say Alif Lam Ra. The Arabs know what Aleph is. They know what Lam is. They know what Ra is. Many of us know what these letters are. Even the most eloquent Arab could not say, they had no idea what Alif Lam Mim was. I don't know. The most eloquent Arab during the time of the Prophet, so to say, they don't know what it means. They couldn't stop in their tracks. Why? Let's stop just reading the Quran and then just to get out from Surah Al-Fatiha to Nas. Ponder over its meaning. Why is Allah saying this? Ask the people. Allah says, فَاسْأَلْ أَهْلِ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. Ask the people of knowledge. Why is Allah saying this? What do you think? What do you think Allah means by this? And especially when we see things repeated over and over and over again. That is a lesson for us. Brothers and sisters, it is Friday. Increase your salawats on Allah's Prophet. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad, kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, fil alamin innaka hamidun majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad, kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, fil alamin innaka hamidun majid. Brothers and sisters, again, we have to always remind us because we only once take care of ourselves. Do not leave out of here without making some type of sadaqah. Please, brothers and sisters. Help the masjid so they can continue to help people who need our help. Iqam as-salah.